Recording in progress.
Hare Om all speakers. Happy Gurupurnima to everyone. Let us pay our salutations to the whole Guru Parampara on this Gurupurnima. And we will start with watching a short video clip of Pujya Swami Dayanandaji. Let us pay our tribute to Pujya Swamiji and
Ratnaikalpitamasanam
our Pujya Swamiji.
Himajalaihi snanam च दिव्याम्बरम् नानारत्न विभूषितं मृगमदामोदाङ्गितं चन्दनम् रत्नैकल्पितमासनं हिमजलैः स्नानं च दिव्याम्बरम् नानारत्न विभूषितं मृगमदामोदाङ्गितं चन्दनम् जाति चंपक बिल्वपत्र रचितं पुष्पं च धूपं तथा दीपं देवदया निधे पशुपते कृत्कल्पितं गृह्यताम् सौवर्णे नवरत्न कंड रचिते पात्रे घृतं पायसं भक्ष्यं पंचविधं पयोदधियुतं रंभा फलं पानकम् सौवर्णे नवरत्न कंड रचिते पात्रे घृतं पायसं भक्ष्यं पंचविधं पयोदधियुतं रंभा फलं पानकम् शाकानामयुतं जलं रुचिकरं कर्पूरकण्डोज्ज्वलं ताम्बूलं मनसा मया विरचितं भक्त्या प्रभो स्वीकुरु ताम्बूलं मनसा मया विरचितं भक्त्या प्रभो स्वीकुरु छत्रं चामरयोर्युगं व्यजनकं चादर्शकं निर्मलं छत्रं चामरयोर्युगं व्यजनकं चादर्शकं निर्मलं वीणा भेरी मृदंग काकलकला गीतं च नृत्यं तथा साष्टांगं प्रणतिः स्तुतिर्बहुविधा ह्येतत् समस्तं मया संकल्पेन समर्पितं तव विभो पूजां गृहाण प्रभो आत्मा त्वं गिरिजामतिः सहचराः प्राणाः शरीरं गृहं पूजाते विषयोपभोगरचना निद्रा समाधिस्थितिः संचारः पदयोः प्रदक्षिणविधिः स्तोत्राणि सर्वा गिरः यद्यत् कर्म करोमि तत्तदखिलं शंभो तवाराधनम् शंभो तवाराधनम् करचरण कृतं वा कायजं कर्मजं वा श्रवण नयनजं वा मानसं वा अपराधं विहितमविहितं वा सर्वमेतत् क्षमस्व जय जय करुणाब्दे श्री महादेव शंभो श्री महादेव शंभो श्री महादेव शंभो.
So, again, it's a very auspicious day, and I would just like to speak about Pujya Swami Dayanandaji on this day. Some of you had raised questions. They wanted to know more about Pujya Swamiji. So I'm taking this opportunity on this Gurupurnima to talk about Pujya Swamiji, who is our Swamiji's Guruji. So here is there. I'm sorry. There is Bada Swamiji, Swami Chinmayanandaji, and Swami Dayanandaji. So Pujya Swamiji met first Swami Chinmayanandaji before coming to Sandipani, and so Pujya Swamiji, Swami Viditatmananji used to listen to Swami Chinmayanandaji when he was there in US, and when he decided to do the 3-year course in Sandipani, it happened that he got introduced to Pujya Swami Dayanandaji, and that's how he was introduced to his Guruji, who also gave Swamiji the sannyas Diksha. So let's take this opportunity to talk about Swami Dayanandaji Maharaj, and that will be our tribute to our Swamiji as well. So Swami Dayanandaji had 3 gurus. Of course, he got introduced to Vedanta through Bada Swamiji, Swami Chinmayanandaji. He heard him first, and he was following Swami Chinmayanandaji and serving him in a lot of editing work. So Swami Dayanandaji also served as an editor for one of the magazines as part of the Chinmaya mission. Another guru of Swami Dayanandaji was Swami Pranavanandaji, who gave him a better understanding of what pramana means, how Upanishad has to be looked upon as pramana. That understanding he received from Swami Pranavanandaji. So he stayed with Swami Pranavanandaji for a very short duration, couple of months, where he got the traditional teaching in the form of the Guru Shishya Parampara. And so he got this understanding that what is pramana, just like the color for perceiving color, our eyes are the pramana. In the same manner, Vedas, Upanishad are the pramana. We don't have to go to any other pramana for gaining the understanding of the self. Vedanta Upanishad is the pramana in its all entirety. Meaning the Shravanam itself becomes a pramana. You don't have to wait for some experience to happen. That Shravana itself would do the work of removing the doubts and clearing the knowledge about the self. By removing the ignorance about ourselves, my very nature is revealed. So this he understood from Swami Pranavanandaji. Then he also had Swami Taranandaji as his Guruji, from whom he learned all the Brahma Sutras. He studied Brahma Sutra. So that's about Swamiji, Puja Swamiji's Gurujis, just to familiarize ourselves with the Guru Parampara as well. About Swami Dayanandaji's, Puja Swami Dayanandaji's activities, he set up 3 ashrams, one in Anaikatti, where I am right now, one in Rishikesh, and one in Saylorsburg. And essentially, Rishikesh ashram and Anaikatti ashram are set for long-term course to give training to students to prepare them for the spiritual journey. And not just teachers, not just creating teachers, but transforming their personalities, making that transformation in the whole of the personality, not just intellectual, but also emotional and entire transformation. So I wanted to share a couple of experiences that I have heard from many Mahatmas and many students about Puja Swamiji, which would bring out his primary character. And what is it? Compassion and love were Puja Swamiji's primary characteristics that he stood out. So some of the experiences from the residential students, how he cared for the students. And before we go there, I actually want to, I don't know if this photograph is not taken properly, but here it's very beautifully, one of his quotation is that what does a guru do? He makes the relationship of a shishya and guru lovable, acceptable. The shishya feels lovable and acceptable in the presence of the guru, so that he's comfortable. He doesn't have anything to fear. He doesn't have to create any facade before the guru. And so the dropping of the notions, existing notions, becomes easier. So this is what the guru does. He helps you see yourself as lovable. He frees you. Then that vision is yours. And when you have that love within yourself, when you have that vision, then you are able to share it with others. Very generous, and the vision he had, one of the vision he had in setting up the Gurukulam was that when students come here, when seekers come here to understand themselves, there should be a pride. Anyways, now I can't. Sorry, this is a. Anyways, when they come here, they should not have anxiety and they should not worry about their basic needs, the food, etc. And so his attitude was always to give the best, to give the students the comfort so that they can keep all their worries aside and focus on studies, focus on self, focus on contemplation of self. And just along that same line, I'm going to share a couple of experiences that I've heard. He used to care a lot about students. And so sometimes in the kitchen, I have some dining examples. So the sannyasi block would be, they would have a different area where they would take their meals. And so all the servings, etc., would also be placed on a different table. And the students' counter would be different. But sometimes, during those days, during the initial days, only the sannyasis were fed curd. And in South India, curd is a big thing. And especially for South Indian students, they can't do without curd. So sometimes students used to come to the sannyasi area, the dining area, and they used to take the curd. And some of the sannyasis didn't like this. They thought that the discipline is not being maintained. If there's a rule, the discipline should be followed. And so they may have approached Swamiji discussing this issue. And Swamiji being very generous, Puja Swamiji being very generous, he said, okay, don't worry, we'll make the curd available to the students as well. So from then on, from the next day, he asked the cook to place a separate curd container for in the student area, in the students' dining area as well. So just an example of how generous and caring, loving he used to be. Second example again of the kitchen. So here at Anaikatti, from the start only they had this procedure that they would have boiled vegetables, so that if people, for somebody who, if something, the spices are not suitable, they can have boiled vegetables. So they were kept in, they used to keep the boiled vegetables in the sannyasi block dining area. And many times the sannyasi, not all the sannyasis would come at the same time. So sometimes some of them would take 2 servings, some of them would take a larger bowl serving. And so anybody or any sannyasis coming afterwards, they would run out of those, basic things which they require. And generally, a brahmachari or brahmacharini would be serving, and for that person, it becomes difficult to explain the situation and to handle the situation when the kitchen had run out of all the boiled vegetables. So one of the brahmacharis one day kind of approached the Swamiji trying to explain the situation, that perhaps we should have some rules set up so that all the sannyasis would can take the serving of only one size, only once, so that it is available to everyone. And again, Swamiji's approach was, no, why to be so miser? So he asked the cook to cook more. So you're cooking 2 kgs, cook 4 kgs. So that was Swamiji, you know, and we definitely see all those qualities in our Swamiji as well. So yeah, it is said that Pujya Swamiji, he was able to share and give anything. It was never that there was a thing with him which he could not give, he could not share. So that was a quality that stood out. And one of the stories that Pujya Swamiji shared in discussion with somebody else, I think I would like to share that. How did he get influence in his life? So he said, Pujya Swami Dayananji's grandfather was a big, rich person, and a lot of people used to come to him, and they used to give lots of gifts to him. Now, one day, this farmer, a poor farmer, comes to him, and uh, he was poor. So, but you're coming to a big person, so you bring something. So, what do you bring? So, in his farm, in his garden, there was a big pumpkin, and perhaps that was the only pumpkin he had. He didn't have all the food, all the, you know, perhaps he didn't even have enough to eat. But this last pumpkin, he saved and brought to his grandfather. And his grandfather, he uh, he accepted the pumpkin, and he gave a lot in return. He gave a lot of grains, etc., to this farmer. And after the farmer left, some of the near ones, they approached the grandfather and told and asked, how come you gave him so much for just a pumpkin? Pumpkin is nothing. Like, even in those days, pumpkin was nothing. Like, it didn't cost too much. So he said, the grandfather said, his grandfather, Pujya Swamiji's grandfather said, it's not the pumpkin that I'm paying for, but he is giving the only meal perhaps that he could have prepared from. I am giving for the share that he is giving. He's giving a significant portion. It's not the pumpkin I am repaying or compensating. It's that share with the ease that I have only so much, and yet so easily this farmer is giving me. And I have, what I'm doing is just making a small attempt to give, to balance in comparison to what he has given. I don't think I'm balancing, yet it is something, at least a little bit in par with what he is giving. So this had influenced Pujya Swamiji a lot in his life. And all his life, anybody who came in contact with him, everybody said unanimously that Swamiji could give anything, anytime. Never a feeling of I should hold this back. So that was Pujya Swamiji. What did Pujya Swamiji have? What did our Dadaji have to say about our Swamiji, our Guruji, our Swami Viditatmanandaji? He said that he knew how to tap grace. Swamiji tapped grace from many Mahatmas. The one thing, the love and compassion we were contemplating on about Pujya Swami Dayanandaji's qualities, those are equally found in our Swamiji, in our Pujya Swamiji as well. And while there is a possibility that it could have been imbibed from Pujya Swamiji, I feel Swamiji was already born with these qualities. And what happened was these qualities got nourished further in presence of his Guruji, in presence of our Dadaji. So they were always there. It just got nourished. But yes, Swamiji, we have to do the osmosis. I don't think we are so generous. I don't think we are so compassionate. It is there because it is the basic quality everybody has. So it is there, but we have to do the osmosis. We have to do the imbibing yet. So let us pray to the whole parampara that we are able to tap this grace on this auspicious day of Gurupurnima. Let us pray that we tap the grace and we transform not just our intellect, our understanding, but our entire personality to understand, assimilate, and abide in this vision of non-duality. Hari Om, and I think we will end with some stotras. So we will chant the Gurupada Puja mantras. Sorry, I should have been ready. We will start with, we'll chant two of the mantras of Sri Dakshina Murti Stotram, and we will follow it by Sri Guru Stotram. मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वैवानं वर्षिष्ठान्ते वृषदृषिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषण्णम् सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात् त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवं जननमरणदुःखच्छेददख्यं नमामि चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृत्ता शिष्या गुरुर्युवा गुरोस्तु मौनव्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्नसंशयाः निर्भये सर्वविद्यानां विषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्ताय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्ते निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। Now we'll chant the Guru Stotram. अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सर्वश्रुतिशिरोरत्न विराजितपदाम्बुजः वेदान्ताम्बुजसूर्यो यः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चैतन्यः शाश्वतः शान्तः व्योमातीतो निरञ्जनः बिन्दुनादकलातीतः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ज्ञानशक्तिसमारूढः तत्त्वमालाविभूषितः भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदाता च तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अनेकजन्मसम्प्राप्त कर्मबन्धविदाहिने आत्मज्ञानप्रदानेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। शोषणं भवसिन्धोश्च ज्ञापनं सारसम्पदः गुरोः पादोदकं सम्यक् तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः तत्त्वज्ञानात् परं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मन्नाथः श्रीजगन्नाथः मद्गुरुः श्रीजगद्गुरुः मदात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुरादिरनादिश्च गुरुः परमदैवतं गुरोः परतरं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। Now we can do the Ashtottara Shatanamavali. Om Shri Viditatmanandavaryaaya Namaha. Om Guruttamaaya Namaha. Om Ahaitukadaya Sindave Namaha. Om Tattvatirtha Nivasine Namaha. Om Muditavadanaaya Namaha. Om Mahatmane Namaha. Om Madhuryamayaya Namaha. Om Vinitkalpatrumaya Namaha. Om Nayanabhiramaya Namaha. Om Medhavine Namaha. Om Panditaya Namaha. Om Kshamashilaya Namaha. Om Priyabhashine Namaha. Om Paramaprema Mantraya Namaha. Om Amanine Namaha. Om Manadaya Namaha. Om Manyaya Namaha. Om Maryada Purushottamaya Namaha. Om Asneha Sneha Rupaya Namaha. Om Swaramaya Namaha. Om Samagana Priyaya Namaha. Om Vairagyanirtaya Namaha. Om Nissangaya Namaha. Om Nirmalatmakaya Namaha. Om Nirmamaya Namaha. Om Nirahankaraya Namaha. Om Bhagavate Namaha. Om Dharmanishine Namaha. Om Anantagunagambhiraya Namaha. Om Shravanamangalaya Namaha. Om Nishkalaswarupaya Namaha. Om Duraradhyaya Namaha. Om Tapassadyaya Namaha. ॐ सूर्यशशाङ्कवह्निनेत्राय नमः। ॐ शिष्यरुत्तापहारकाय नमः। ॐ अनर्घ्यफलदात्रे नमः। ॐ तीर्थपादाय नमः। ॐ पुण्यकीर्तये नमः। ॐ प्रथितमहामहिम्ने नमः। ॐ लब्धप्रेयस्परित्यक्त्रे नमः। ॐ स्वतन्त्रगतये नमः। ॐ विदेशमान्याय नमः। ॐ स्थपतिविद्याशालिने नमः। ॐ स्वदेशधन्याय नमः। ॐ मोदकप्रियाय नमः। ॐ काषायाम्बरलाङ्कृताय नमः। ॐ कस्तूरीतिलकाङ्किताय नमः। ॐ विभूतिभूषिताय नमः। ॐ कुन्दकुसुमप्रियाय नमः। ॐ आङ्ग्लभाषाविदुत्तमाय नमः। ॐ गुरुजरविभूत्यै नमः। ॐ बालसंस्कारसेचनोत्सुकाय नमः। ॐ गुरुचरजनज्ञानदाननिरताय नमः। ॐ अध्यात्मविद्यामन्दिरप्रणेत्रे नमः। ॐ अध्यात्मशिबिरप्रयोजकाय नमः। ॐ गीताज्ञानयज्ञप्रचारकाय नमः। ॐ कर्मपरायणाय नमः। ॐ अनेकग्रन्थकृते नमः। ॐ श्लेषभाषिणे नमः। ॐ प्रतिवादिभयङ्कराय नमः। ॐ गङ्गातटसञ्चरणप्रियाय नमः। ॐ श्रीदयानन्दप्रियशिष्याय नमः। ॐ तोषिताम्बामनोरथाय नमः। ॐ देवद्विजपूजन ॐ देवद्विजगुरुप्राज्ञपूजनरताय नमः। ॐ शिष्योत्तमसेविताय नमः। ॐ पङ्क्तिपावनपावनाय नमः। ॐ सर्वलोकहितोत्सुकाय नमः। ॐ उत्साहवर्धकाय नमः। ॐ वाङ्मयाय नमः। ॐ ज्ञानगङ्गास्वरूपाय नमः। ॐ विदिताखिलशास्त्रसुधाजलतये नमः। ॐ गीवार्णगिराविदये नमः। ॐ पदवाक्यप्रमाणकुशलाय नमः। ॐ फलासक्तिरहिताय नमः। ॐ तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतये नमः। ॐ यदुच्चालाभसन्तुष्टाय नमः। ॐ प्रारब्धसमर्पितवपुषे नमः। ॐ वेदान्तविदे नमः। ॐ सन्न्यासिने नमः। ॐ तत्त्वमालाविभूषिताय नमः। ॐ छिन्नसंशयाय नमः। ॐ मायाकार्यविनिर्मुक्ताय नमः। ॐ देहद्वयसाक्षिणे नमः। ॐ अन्तर्बहिःप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ ज्ञानविज्ञानभासकाय नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्थाय नमः। ॐ ज्ञानशक्तिसमारूढाय नमः। ॐ श्रुतवत्सलाय नमः। ॐ नित्यबहुभक्तसम्मलिताय नमः। ॐ शरणत्राणतत्पराय नमः। ॐ सत्सम्पूजिताय नमः। ॐ नित्यस्तुत्याय नमः। ॐ सविलासमहामोहग्राहग्रासैककर्मणे नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषजे नमः। ॐ जगन्मङ्गलमूर्तये नमः। ॐ कुसुममृदुरच्चित्ताय नमः। ॐ अविद्यासमरनिष्ठुराय नमः। ॐ सुगन्धिपुष्टिवर्धनाय नमः। ॐ कार्याकार्यप्रबोधकाय नमः। ॐ अग्नपाशाष्टकच्छेत्रे नमः। ॐ मुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदात्रे नमः। ॐ कटाक्षकिरणविक्षेपवशीकृतभक्तहृदयाय नमः। ॐ अद्वैतज्ञानमूर्तये नमः। ॐ महावाक्योपदेशनिरताय नमः। ॐ ब्रह्मविद्याचर्याय नमः। ॐ नटवरवपुषे नमः। ॐ नित्याद्वयानन्दरसस्वरूपिणे नमः। ॐ श्रीसद्गुरुस्वामिने नमः। नानाविधपरिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ गुरुनाथाय गुरुनाथ। ॐ गुरुनाथाय गुरुनाथ। ॐ गुरुनाथ जय गुरुनाथ, ओम गुरुनाथ, जय गुरुनाथ, ओम गुरुनाथ, जय गुरुनाथ, ओम गुरुनाथ, जय गुरुनाथ। तव नाम श्रवणं मम जीवनं, तव नाम स्मरणं ॐ गुरुनाथ, जय गुरुनाथ, ॐ गुरुनाथ, जय गुरुनाथ, ॐ गुरुनाथ, जय गुरुनाथ, ॐ गुरुनाथ, जय गुरुनाथ, ॐ गुरुनाथ, जय गुरुनाथ।